Have you ever wondered why certain decisions in history were made? Decisions that had profound and often devastating consequences for individuals and entire communities? In today's podcast, we will unravel one such decision and its far-reaching implications. We will delve into this question: what led to the involuntary sterilizations of minority groups and the erosion of their reproductive rights? Join us as we uncover the shocking history and the modern echoes of this dark chapter in American history. At only 17 years old, Carrie Buck became the main character in arguably one of the most influential Supreme Court cases in American history. Buck v. Bell set forth a series of events that would forever alter the course of many people's lives, events that could have easily been prevented. In 1927, Carrie Buck became pregnant and was placed into a mental institution by her foster parents. Deemed unfit to reproduce, Buck fell victim to an involuntary reproductive sterilization procedure, one which would prevent her from bearing children in the future. But what is involuntary sterilization? According to Human Rights Watch, sterilization refers to, quote, a process or act that renders an individual incapable of sexual reproduction, end quote. Moreover, involuntary sterilizations entail removing one's ability to sexually reproduce without their knowledge or their consent. But why would someone want to prevent people from reproducing? Throughout the early 20th century, the United States witnessed a disturbing trend. A wave of involuntary sterilizations were sweeping across the nation, and they were all in the name of eugenics. But what are eugenics? To put it simply, eugenics is the belief that it is ethical to control who is able and who is unable to reproduce based on their race, social class, and mental abilities in order to supposedly better society. The Supreme Court used Buck v. Bell as a marker for all future involuntary sterilizations, stating that, quote, it is better for the world if, instead of waiting to execute degenerate offspring for crime or let them starve for their imbecility, society can prevent those who are manifestly unfit from continuing their kind, end quote. Therefore, the Supreme Court was justifying the practice of involuntary sterilization by saying that they were aiming to improve the welfare of the country by preventing those who they believed were unfit to reproduce. Buck v. Bell allowed for coerced sterilizations to take place and would therefore be protected by law. Although it was never overturned, Buck v. Bell served as a precursor for all future involuntary sterilizations for those who were supposedly deemed unfit to reproduce, spanning from the early 20th century all the way up until 2009, when the last forced non-consensual reproductive surgery was performed in a California state prison. We decided to ask fellow Santa Clara students if they had heard of Buck v. Bell, or if they even knew what involuntary reproductive sterilization was, and the results were alarming.
I know that in some cultures, women are subjected to forced sterilizations, but I don't know a lot about it.
I don't know anything about involuntary sterilizations.
I don't know anything about involuntary sterilization.
As heard earlier, many students are unaware of what Buck v. Bell is, or what forced sterilization is, which is fascinating to take note of because it is something that mimics what is going on in America today. As we fast forward to present day, it's evident that the shadow of Buck v. Bell still looms over us. Recent events, such as the overturning of Roe v. Wade, remind us of the ongoing struggle for reproductive rights. The erosion of these rights disproportionately affects marginalized groups, just as involuntary sterilizations once did. It brings up the question, could we be on the brink of another wave of forced reproductive operations, such as those protected by Buck v. Bell? Buck v. Bell is not just a dark chapter in American history. It's a warning that history has a tendency to repeat itself. We urge you to reflect and engage in the discussion about the profound implications of involuntary sterilization and the preservation of reproductive rights in our society today. Thank you for joining us in this journey through history. We hope this podcast has shed light on a crucial issue that continues to shape our world.